happening, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormies presents the Ahnenerbe Hour. I am Johnny Monoxide, and tonight on our star-studded panel, we have Adam Haidt, we have Scott Taylor, we have Bradshaw Wilson, we have Death, and we have Musonius Rufus. Huge panel. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hello.
Greetings.
Planar warts are a Jewish plot.
Hello.
Holy cow!
Ooh, we
Scott,
got the Mexa Boomer.
we got the Mexico. Scott, I think you're extra loud for some reason. I thought that was.
Oh, okay. Let me
Yeah.
turn away from the microphone, I guess.
It's all good.
Turn
from
away from the mic to breathe.
Turn away. Turn away. Yeah, what's happening, guys? Welcome to the first episode post Charlottesville, post all kinds of. It's been a crazy week for everybody, I think.
Post Holy Challenger.
Yeah, it was a very challenging week, you could say. But yeah, no, we
That
got
wasn't fucking funny. It's a tragedy.
Oh, okay.
Hey, at least it turned out better than the last Challenger incident. Am I right?
Oh. Hey guys, just
That
for
was our
for the
ratings.
record. Hey, remember I was gonna not do emails at the beginning until I got this one email, just literally just now. Yeah, it says it's from fuck you at don't reply at wordpress.com. The email is. I mean, do I have to read this on the air because I don't want to, but I will. Admin.
No, you don't, because that was me. Don't read that.
Okay.
Don't read that.
Okay. Oh, fucking pranked. That was awesome. This is going to be the best end of season episode ever. In case you guys hadn't noticed, we've gone 25 weeks, which is approximately half of a year. Which is about long enough for one whole season of a paranormal, occult, conspiratorial podcast. We need to take a break and recharge our big brains and whatever. Do some research.
Our ghost backpacks.
Yeah, we got to recharge our ghost backpacks. We got to read all that material that you guys have sent to us. We've got hours and hours and hours of research that you guys want us to do for the show so we can entertain you. In the meantime, you know, most of us have jobs or things that we do during the week. So like, you know, almost, all right, let's be honest. Most of us don't anymore. But that's a whole other thing. But we need to do the research for these shows that you guys want to hear. You know, you want us to do the Nazi Bell Project. You want us to do this thing. You want us to do that thing. This cryptid, that cryptid, this place, that place, this person, that person. Go on a trip to Antarctica. All this stuff. Not only does it take time and agency, but it takes money. So you know, we're not shilling, but we're shilling. So anyway, we got some donations this week. I want to read them all off, but because we're involved in another funds collection activity for some other alt-right projects, we're not going to read off donations this week. We will get to everybody's donation, I promise, even if I have to read it twice in the next episode. So there's that. God damn it, Scott. That was hilarious and like literally in the middle of my fucking monologue. Thanks, bud.
Yep, no problem.
So what's our topic today?
So today, what I figured we would do is, because we are 25 episodes into the season, we will take our mid-season or end-of-season break, and we're going to recap and talk about our favorite episodes and what we thought was cool and what we thought we could expound upon or whatever. What do you guys think?
Was that the only email? The one that wasn't an actual email? Or did we have more?
That threw me way off. Wait a second, there was one more. Well, there's the 3 emails that say please don't read on the air. Should I not even say that? Just kidding.
I mean, it's fine that people send you emails they don't want you to read on the air.
Yeah, don't read
Hey,
them.
Johnny, I've seen this pasta. Oh, this is a I've seen this pasta
If it's
circulating
a
on
pasta,
X and
just-
Poll, and to me its contents make a whole lot of sense. It makes me feel the whole alien conspiracy scene under a brand new set of eyes, and I was just wondering what you and the guys think. It could make for an interesting episode topic. Or side note, there's a pay spin. Basically, the TLDR is that aliens probably don't exist, and that the whole idea of aliens visiting Earth is a huge-ass false flag made by them. Go ahead and give it a read. For context, keep in mind it was written a couple years ago when the supposed September blood moon kike magic shit was happening. Hot in Poll. In addition, give this short article a read about close encounters of the facial kind. Not directly related to the aforementioned theory, but it provides evidence that aliens, in most if not all cases, are non-existent. Anyways, keep up the good work.
Aliens
and
aren't real.
remain
Grow up.
yeah, well, yeah. That's right. I think aliens are more real than Hogwarts, though. I'll tell you that much.
Damn
well,
right.
obviously. So who else is blind from the eclipse?
I'm not blind, but I don't see so well for some reason this week. I didn't.
I never
I-
realized to begin with.
I legitimately looked at it without glasses.
Did you? I did too.
I did it
But I was
twice.
looking at it. I was looking at it out my window, through the shades, through a tree, through. You know what I mean?
I walked outside and just whoop straight up.
Yeah, I couldn't help but like get a
Well,
kind of
the first
glancing look at it
time-
a couple times, and it
the first
left
time
a
I
blurry
was-
impression just from that.
The first time I was smart and I closed one eye,
Oh,
and
good.
so just one eye was
That's how you do
burned
it.
out. And then the second time, I'm like, well, fuck it, and I did both eyes. But I had a headache for the rest of the day, but I think I'm fine.
So what are we going to call the new colors we discovered?
I'm gonna tell you off the air. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't want the
because-
uninitiated to find
Yeah,
out.
right, marketing. All right, so we got one more email I forgot. It's hey dudes, love your show. I was listening to your episode about Ted Bundy and heard you guys talking about true crime. This reminded me of a podcast called Sword and Scale, which is a true crime podcast that has covered a story about Ted Bundy as well. This is well researched and professionally done podcast. What are you trying to say? That has a lot of details and interesting facts about all sorts of criminals and crimes, including serial killers. Wow. So this is an episode about Ted Bundy. He lists the episode Sword and Scale, episode 2. I believe it also has an interview with him included. Maybe there's something in the episode you could use to better your own content. Also, wow.
Wow.
Oh.
It's like the most backhanded. No, I'm kidding.
This guy's roasting the fuck out of us.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Thanks,
How are we gonna
Carolus.
recover?
His name is Carolus Simulvicious. Simulvicious. It's quite vicious.
No, what was it called
You
though?
jerk. Sword and Scale is the podcast. Sword and Scale.
I'll check that
Like
out.
some nerds.
Yeah, it sounds like some Harry
some
Potter shit.
D&D shit. I'll
I'll
check
put
that
down the monster manual, boys.
Okay. Well,
So, yeah,
their website's really well put together, I suppose. So that's cool.
All right.
Oh, they
It's
got
a,
100 episodes. Oh, these guys are outdoing us.
They've been going longer. Like
We got to step it up.
we'll step it up.
Oh, you know what? I think their podcasts are only an hour long. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
so
we're
totally
basically tied. Yeah.
winning.
We're basically twice as good as they are.
Is
Yeah,
that how you
I would
measure
say
how
so.
good a podcast is? Is how long?
Yeah, the
it is?
longer the better.
It's like big. Yeah.
That's why I love those Dan Carlin ones, because he just does like one subject and it's just a fucking.
Oh, dude, that
shitload
guy
of
goes on
information
for ages. Yeah.
All right.
well,
So we did emails. We covered donations. Let's get into tonight's topic. We're gonna recap season 2. It was a good season. We did a lot of fun stuff. We had we covered everything from like Men in Black to Disney and Salem witch trials and. You guys, where do you guys want to start? We're gonna call this the recap episode. How about that?
okay. Well, since we all ranked the episodes that we liked best before this, and
All of us.
went above and beyond. Yeah, all of us. And since
Some
I
of us.
went above and beyond. I did all 25 episodes.
Wow, nerd.
Do you want me to go first, just so you know? That
Hey,
way, at least we cover
well-
all of them.
Brad, why did you put $11 at the end of your list?
That was an accident.
Oh, okay. There wasn't like a. Okay.
No, I dropped my phone on my keyboard and I just forgot to delete it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, Scott ranked the entire season. We have 25 episodes. I mean, it was good. We did a lot of stuff. We covered some esoteric stuff. We covered like near death experiences. We covered Aleister Crowley. We covered.
We can
You know, Yeah. Let's.
read
Yeah.
them
You guys
off
want?
as we
You guys
go
want to
down.
just grow? You want to read them all off or what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So
You might
should
as well
I?
just do your
Yeah.
ranking
There's no
from
point
worst
in
to best.
there's no point in reading them twice. That's stupid.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so I did worst to best. The worst for me was the first half of the Haunted Hotels episode and the Elisa Lamb episode.
Huh. It's
That was
weird
the one
how
where Bradshaw just shit the bed completely.
and that's weird how that episode on your list has is the last place episode and also
That is-
basically broke the top 5.
Yeah, well, I had to split it into 2 parts. I split it into the Elisa Lamb half and then the Haunted Hotels half. And
So
the Haunted Hotels half was dead last.
Dead last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That was
Well,
I
actually,
really have no idea what you guys are talking about. What episode was that?
don't worry about it. It's
Well, you were blackout. drunk the
I
whole
do not
time,
recall.
so
I do not recall ever
we
understand.
know.
about haunted hotels.
We know.
all right.
Don't worry. So yeah, that's dead last. The next one for me was the Vault 7 / WikiLeaks one.
You didn't like that
I
one?
just
Wow.
I thought it was too topical. Like,
Well, it kind of was
Wow.
basically because we did that one that week purposely because Vault 7 was leaked the day before we recorded the episode.
right. I mean, it wasn't bad. I thought we got into some good stuff about like was that the one where we talked about like the CIA and like
Yeah.
their heart attack guns and that
Yeah.
was good stuff.
Yeah.
I just thought the Vault 7 stuff was a little rushed, I guess. And then next for me was the I split another one. I only split 2 episodes, but the other one I split was the Clinton scandals / Larry Nichols episode. The half that I'm talking about that came third from last was the Larry Nichols half,
Of course. Yeah.
which was like the ultimate. I wasn't on that one, so I had to hear it after the fact. After all, you guys are like, dude, it was a pretty big boomer post.
I got
And
stuck with him alone for a bit in the middle of the episode because like everyone was like halfway through the interview, everyone went to go like get water and stuff, and
Yeah,
I unfortunately like didn't say I'd be right back before everybody else did, so it was just like me and Larry Nichols there. I just said,
I still have that
I was like,
audio.
oh, I gotta be right back.
I still have that audio. So
it.
I have
He
all
started
the
out
audio.
really strong, and then it just
but then the hypoxis kicked in when you've been on an oxide.
Yeah. Hypoxia. When the
5
hypoxia
hours.
hit.
Yeah, it's like
like chain smoking with an oxygen tank.
right? No, he is. The guy who got me the interview. Okay, here's the thing: is Larry Nichols goes to one of our listeners' spots for lunch all the time, and that's as far as I'm going for doxing. I probably dox the shit out of him because the guy lives in like a 1-restaurant town, but he's like, no, I can get you this interview with this guy from, the Clinton administration and whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. And so we got him on, and I wasn't expecting that. It was a really great interview for the first 40 some odd minutes. And then the oxygen just started taking hold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
he
talked to
just-
him 10 minutes earlier, like 10 years earlier, it'd have been way
Oh
better
yeah,
of an interview.
yeah. And I've seen his interviews, and I've watched all the documentaries with him on there, and he's a great interview. But now he's close to 80. He's top of the boomers.
I
It's
bet
not
he
his
doesn't
fault.
even realize like the fucking podcast he was on too. Like
Stop it. Stop it. All right. So next, Scott. So next, you next.
Oh shit. Next for me was the USOs and Dyatlov Pass episode.
Which is
Mostly for the USOs part. there wasn't a lot of shit to talk about.
no. I remember that episode, and I remember looking at the content list like, that's all we got. Okay.
Yeah, you type USO into Google and you get like 6 pages of results. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
I thought the Dyatlov Pass stuff was good. It's just there's a lot
Dyatlov
more.
Pass, we got a lot of people questioning some of our research. There was other stuff that we didn't get into that we could have gotten into. More of the little flying balls. What do they call them?
Flying bulls.
Ball lightning.
Not the ball lightning, but they were called something in the area that was like
and they were like chasing the people down or whatever. Is that what you're...
Yeah, there were some sightings of those.
Yeah, we didn't get into that as much as we could have, but whatever. Yeah.
I think if we did the Dyatlov Pass episode by itself and did a little more research, it would have turned out a lot better. I just think...
it deserves its own episode. I'm just throwing that out there.
There's always an opportunity to revisit.
I'm not opposed to it. I just think that there's no opportunity to revisit USOs because like we basically exhausted all of the material.
All 3 web pages.
I was going to say it's kind of funny that you ranked that episode so low, but I did rank that one high, not because of the USOs, because there wasn't really much to say, but I did like the Dyatlov Pass episode.
Yeah, that's I guess that's kind of one of those ones I could have split too, but whatever. Next for me was the Crowley one, just because I don't like Crowley, but I just felt like it was kind of like a little too biographical and not enough of like speculation, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I see that.
I still think it was important to cover the man of like the sort of lasting effect he still has to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, he has a huge effect on all kinds of parts of society.
Well, I mean, he is an evil, or was an evil motherfucker. So, I mean, I think you're reacting. I think a lot of people reacted against like his sodomy and all the other shit he did. So,
yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe I just don't like Crowley. That's that's equally possible.
He was a disgusting person.
Yeah.
But he was responsible for the Loch Ness Monster, so, got to give him that.
Wait, kind of, but okay.
I believe that's my personal theory.
You believe he summoned the Loch Ness Monster?
Nessie.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
He had a house on Loch Ness.
Well,
and the sightings started... The sightings appeared after he started doing his weird witchcraft shit. And then
this nigga believes in fairies and Loch Ness Monster, but but Adam Lanza is beyond the pale.
Crazier, so
it's all good. So that's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's just it'd be like that sometimes.
Shit,
I can't criticize that. I believe in all sorts of crazy stuff.
Right? No, me too. Like that's why we're on the show, guys. That's why we're on this show. This is why we've been relegated to this corner of TRS. So.
This is the fun corner. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
Corner. All K's.
Do meth and
The number 5 paranormal podcast on TRS.
Well, season 3 will be number 4. I'm hoping.
Hopefully we can ouster whatever the.
I mean, we only have we can always go down too.
That's also true.
Whatever
There's no shame in that.
Irritated Salamander podcast is or whatever.
With them on the market, there's nowhere to go but down. I don't think we're gonna ever
agitated skink
even get any new fans.
Will we ever recover?
Agitated skink publishing.
Irate toad.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. What's next? Oh, so next after Crowley is the Syria and other false flags episode. I mainly put it this low because I don't remember it that well, and by that well I mean I don't remember it.
Yeah, it was an episode that wasn't memorable.
It was another topical one because that was the one we did right after Trump decided to bombed Syria, wasn't it?
That's why we pulled up false flags. We started talking about other false flags.
Yeah.
Like we brought up the USS Liberty. What was the other ones? Did we bring up the coal?
I don't know, because it's like it wasn't a memorable episode.
Oh my god! Yeah, and I have to go back and listen. Which
it's as of the world on War on Terror,
yeah,
coal.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of. I think that in the future, if we do these kind of episodes, we have to devote a lot more time to each individual topic. It kind of feels like going down a list if we just do like. I don't know. I just think false flags is like a really broad thing. Like each of those things that we talked about could have been their own thing.
9/11 could be in its own thing, of course, right?
Right.
Oh,
well, it could be like 5 episodes.
I think
like,
9/11. I think we could do 9/11 for at least, part of next season.
We are planning to, aren't we? For 9/11.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Spoiler alert.
Are we dropping a spoiler alert? Yeah. Spoiler alert.
We should talk about that at the end
Breaking
of this one.
news.
Yeah. What was next? Oh, next for me was Lovecraft. Which I didn't think was bad. I think like I'm starting to get into the ones that I thought were pretty decent.
Why don't you like Wig Buttles?
I like Wig Buttles. I just Lovecraft is
but you didn't like
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just the biographical one I don't care for.
Yeah, if you got more into his stories, I think it would have been a better episode. Because like before, I actually had just been like listening to an audiobook of the was it the Eldritch Horror before that fucking episode dropped. So I was all in like a Lovecraft kind of mood, and you mostly it was very biographical, which is, I mean, when you're talking about like a figure like that or Crowley, you got to hit on that kind of biographical information.
right.
Yeah.
So-
I,
So you didn't like? Oh, go ahead, Adam.
well, Crowley, I could understand the biography being important, but I mean, Lovecraft was just a weird shut in.
Well, you also have to bring up the fact that he hates niggers.
Oh, we did.
True.
We definitely brought that up.
No, I
We
know.
did.
I
We
heard it.
read that. Do I need to read the poem again?
No.
I love that poem.
Okay. But you said okay. So you said Crowley. Then what? Vampires.
I didn't say vampires. I was about to. I said Crowley.
Oh wow, dude! I'm gonna tell Larry you hated his episode, Johnny.
No, vampires actually was next for me.
No, I liked that episode. That was a good episode.
It was really fun to record. I just don't know how much like information we covered. Like, there's a lot of
the problem is I think you didn't have enough time to cover all like the information on it because I just recently started watching. I'm watching some Jewish television about this show called The Strain, and I found out a little bit more about vampire folklore through it, and I've been just looking into it.
There's so much more vampire stuff that we could have covered. Like we can do an episode every season about vampires, and it'll be.
But that's for another episode.
Right. Okay, so you said vampires, and then what was your next one? Your next.
After vampires, the next best one for me, probably the JFK episode. I think so. I'm starting to get into ones that I actually enjoy now. I thought the JFK was good. It's just there's so much to talk about that we still have to talk about. So
That's
I think we ought to do it
part
at least.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we need a part 2 eventually.
Well, I have.
Yeah, I like that one. I was on that one.
That was a good one, Musonius. Yeah, that was one of the first ones that you went in depth with anything on, where we had you on as like an expert witness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
see, boomers.
You were there.
Boomers love that. That's their favorite conspiracy, and so I've talked to a lot of boomers about it and learned about it. So that's what made that one good. Is all the conversations I've had with boomers about it.
That's really the only conspiracy that boomers are kind of allowed to get into. Or
Yeah,
at least
that's
they're willing to get into.
yeah, they won't get into 9/11.
There are some that will get into 9/11, but not too deep. Just that Bush lied, people died.
Yeah. Well, then there's your David Ray Griffin, Webster Tarpley types that are like, like full on conspirators. Like, I was doing my Jim Fetzer voice. I'm sorry, but yeah, he there's some boomers that what's his name? David Ray Griffin is the guy who heads up the engineers for 9/11 Truth or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
And it's all like architects and engineers who are like, this shit doesn't make any sense.
He also
Does not make sense.
he also did Birth of a Nation, didn't he?
Who did Birth of a David Ray Griffin?
David Ray. Yeah, he did back in like 1910. He did Birth of a Nation.
Oh, it's not the same guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, no,
I was thinking.
He's a time traveler.
God damn it, Scott. But no, yes, but yeah.
But that was
I
a
know.
good movie, by the way. Now that
It's a
you
great
brought it
movie.
up, it's a good movie.
A really good movie. But I think the Paranormies are going to cover 9/11 next season in depth. We're definitely going to do that. We're going to do. Maybe we'll do JFK Part 2 and Clinton's Part 2, and try and get Johnny assassinated a second time for talking about.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's not you. So yeah.
That's not me. I like how I've gotten this killed. I have like mysteriously had something come up.
Yeah. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to do that episode. You know what? The dog he like shit in the front yard. I don't know what's going on. He usually shits in the backyard. It's a weird conspiracy. I got to check this out.
It honest to God was coincidental. I really wasn't dodging those episodes. As much as it, yeah. Well,
You should probably not laugh so
can-
much. Don't laugh so much when
Right.
you say that next time. So maybe people.
We can do an episode about whether or not I was dodging the episodes.
Exactly.
What is Scott really hiding?
All right. So let's get. All right. So we've there's a whole bunch of. We did 25 episodes this season.
I got to move faster. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got to move faster. You said.
No, we got we got like a 3-hour episode. It doesn't matter how.
I know. But so the last one you said was
JFK.
Yeah, JFK. Now I thought that we covered JFK pretty thoroughly, but then I got into a friend of mine's uncle's book collection, and he has shelves and shelves and shelves upon shelves of JFK conspiracy theory books, where it's like I mean, we literally took, cases of these books over to the used bookstore to get rid of them, and they didn't want them because there was too many. They're like, no, we can't buy all of this conspiratard crap that you have. But I've gone through some of them, and I am gonna say to the end of my days that what happened at JFK was not a single bullet, and it was not the story that they tell us. So
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the most written about single events in history. I would have to imagine. I mean, I'm not basing that off of anything.
Well, no, but like without any sort of actual definitive, this is exactly what happened. It's still
That's what's so interesting about it.
Yeah.
There's so many books written about it, and people still have doubts about it. Yeah. So after JFK for me was probably the Men in Black episode. I liked that one just because it creeped me out personally. Like, I was sitting on my couch after we recorded that, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to get a knock at the door any second now.
Well, the
That
Men in
one scared
Black,
the shit out of me.
it's kind of a scary story to think about anyways, just these weird guys in like cowboy jackets and hats showing up at your house with no eye sockets or whatever. It's really just creepy.
And they basically
And it's always like an
implicitly
alternate
hypnotize you.
reality. Like when they show up and knock, you like go into like a trance or a different level of consciousness or something. It's
Right.
it's scary. It's just scary.
Yeah, that's probably the scariest part for me. It's like, well, if some asshole knocks on my door and I don't want them to come in the house, I just say, fuck off. But like, if I'm visited by the Men in Black and they knock on my door, well, am I going to have the presence of mind to not open the door? Well, probably not. I'm probably going to let them in.
Right.
So that's what I think the most scary part is for me.
And talking about them or thinking about them increases their chances of visiting you.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like, I just did 2 hours talking about this. Am I going to have any issues, But I did not. So hopefully they don't visit tonight either.
Is that a knock?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
So your the next one after that is...
Next after that for me was the Disney one. I thought the Disney one was really interesting. I liked it because it was kind of off topic. Not off topic, but kind of different than what we would usually do,
Disney was fun. Disney was fun because, Disney is fun. You think of Disney, you think of, going on Space Mountain, hanging out with Goofy, whatever, Disney is fun. Right?
Also, all the wacky ways that people have died in the park.
It was a real
it was
just a fun episode
in the roller coaster.
Hold on, one at a time. Go ahead. Adam, go first.
Yeah, the dude who got his head knocked off because he just stood up in a roller coaster.
That was it Johnny One Way?
Yeah, I think so. Just fucking.
He's just disappointed with it. He's like, yeah, fuck this ride.
It doesn't sound like something anybody would do in Disney, though.
I think it was just a fun, quirky episode to do, like learning about the different kind of spooks and specters.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the ones that are kind of off topic like that.
So, so your next one was what? Clinton?
Next one for me is the Clinton scandals that aren't involving Larry Nichols. I thought it was a good episode. It's just, the Larry Nichols thing just kind of, was too boomer posty. But, at least none of us died recording it, so that's good.
Yeah, the Clintons are real scumbags.
They really are. I really hate them.
So then,
and old age will catch up with them soon.
I'm hoping that
too.
It really was because Hillary Clinton was in the news again at the time.
Yeah, guys, I've been listening to Andrew Breitbart's book. And that's another conspiracy, by the way. He was probably assassinated.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, and Podesta shows up there. I mean, he was just part of the Clinton machine, and I got kind of creeped out, honestly. Thinking about how he was doing all this important stuff of busting wide open the media complex, and then he drinks some wine and kills over dead.
Right.
And he was talking about Podesta, so it's like even talking about these people, if you do too much damage to them, you just end up dead.
Yeah. Yeah, he was poisoned. I have no doubt at all.
Yeah, the coroner waited days, and there's certain poisons that do not persist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It would have been gone within 48 hours. Some of those things.
Yeah. But next for me was the underground military bases. I thought that was a really fun episode to do as well. Especially talking about Phil Schneider was the guy that was missing the hand that we thought was probably legitimate. And then there was the other dude that was full of shit. The guy that was a janitor.
Yeah.
That had the top secret clearance.
Yeah, he was he had all this access to stuff that he shouldn't have had access to.
Yeah.
And Phil Schneider.
I think that was good just because it kind of showed that even if some parts of something are true, there's a lot of disinfo as well.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So I thought that was pretty fun. Let's see. Next for me was the near-death and out-of-body experiences. Just because I always like that topic a lot. I think it's a really interesting topic to read about. And that's one I really regret that I wasn't able to make it on because out-of-body experiences for me and near-death experiences are probably something I've read more about than any other paranormal topic. But I thought you guys did a pretty good job on it. So let's see. After that is the Amityville, which Bradshaw made up for his hotel posting with the Amityville episode. I thought that was pretty. I don't know. I thought it was neat to talk about the pig and all that spooky shit. But
I like it was cool that we could do one where we just acknowledge like this is really interesting to read about and it's cool, but like it probably bullshit.
I have a couple other ones I want to hit in season 3, including the Perone family house and the Enfield poltergeist. I want to do those two.
yeah, that'd be good. I don't know anything about either of those, so that'll be fun.
Well, they've both been horror movies. So if you've seen The Conjuring 1 and The Conjuring 2, that's what the stories that those are based off of.
Okay, I have not seen those.
Which
so.
You should watch The Conjuring. It's like the one good modern horror movie.
When was that one released? It was pretty recently, right?
2013, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I remember because I was working at a movie theater at the time, so I was like taking tickets and shit for that movie.
Yeah, it was really good because, you know, in the day of like slasher films or ever, like the only way you can scare someone is people dying. It's one of those like horror movies where no one dies, but it still scares the pants off you.
Okay.
Yeah, those are always my favorite. I really hate how horror movies have gotten.
No,
like,
horror movies are all
jump
nothing
scare
but
heavy.
jump scare, and that's it. It's like boogity boogity, you know. It's like something, you know,
like torture porn.
Or, yeah,
I can't stand torture.
that shit.
The Saw stuff, like torture porn type. Yeah, it's gross.
Like I was a 14-year-old on B once. I've seen the real shit. This doesn't do anything for me.
Like I can go on LiveLeak for free. I don't need to buy tickets to your stupid movie.
The reason why modern horror movies are terrible is because they keep trying to up the intensity when they should be trying to just like build atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
No atmosphere.
No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, that's a great
It really
point.
does. Yeah.
They need to learn like what dynamics are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lack of atmosphere is kind of why I feel like horror video games are actually better than horror movies now.
Some of
I mean, horror video games are like a sea of cancer too.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's if you talk about like Slender Man and shit, but like games like Outlast are fucking phenomenal.
Power Drill Massacre.
7 out of 10. Not bad.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
no, fuck
Hey,
dude!
guys.
I literally couldn't.
Hey,
I got
guys.
too spooked to finish Outlast.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna do this on the show still?
Yeah, why
Or,
not?
Because we're on the show.
It's
okay.
horror shit. We're talking horror
Um,
We're talking about
we're
scary
talking about
things.
Oh, these are scary things. I should probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
these then. Oh.
We're talking about horror media.
shit. All right. Well,
We're talking about video
next.
games.
Yeah.
horror
video
video
games.
games.
Yeah, what was that?
How is that
Oh,
any worse
Jesus.
than films?
I don't know. Don't yell at me. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the
Boomer
fucking
posting pretty hard.
the boomer over here doesn't know how to operate a Super Nintendo.
No, I don't know what
This is
fucking.
Pong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pong was scary.
Should we talk about Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
That was a scary game, you know.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's not scary.
Nobody's
Okay.
familiar with that,
Johnny
Scott.
would, he's old.
Adam, nobody's familiar with that. Adam.
Anyway.
Back in my day, we had stickball, and that was it.
Shut up, Brad. Remember how you're
We had
not a
horror
mod?
stickball too.
Remember how you're not an admin here? Why don't I just block you from this call?
Bye. Anyway, next for me was the Ted Bundy episode. I thought that was pretty interesting to talk about. I didn't know anything about Ted Bundy going into it, really.
I didn't really either. That was one of the ones that people were like, Johnny, you didn't know anything about that. I was like, exactly. I did not. And I learned a lot on that episode. So,
Yeah, he's like the serial killer.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him and I'd say the big three are him, Gacy, and Dahmer.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, I've done a bit of studying on Dahmer, and that guy's like his story is thoroughly disturbing. But Ted Bundy, man. After listening to all that stuff that he did and reading about it, like, holy shit, man. He just went into that. He went into that sorority house. Just
Sorority.
Fuck. Sorority just fucked people up. Like lots and lots of like bludgeoning and blood and ugh. I don't.
Yeah.
How you could do that to fucking sorority girls who are naturally cuter than regular girls? You know.
Well, it had to be a sexual thing for him. That's probably why he wanted to beat the sorority girls. But that was, we already kind of covered that in the episode.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one is Jacques Vallée, the one we did with Salty.
That was a good one.
Yeah, we talked about tricksters and there was some book I've been meaning to read. What is like the Trickster and the Paranormal or something like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Was that one of those ones that Giorgiani recommended?
It might have been Giorgiani, or it might have been someone in the comments section. I honestly can't remember.
I mean, it could have been Giorgiani, or it could have been Review Bra, or they're both the same person.
Yeah, which we have to do an episode about that, because I'm honestly almost convinced they're the same person. They look alike. They sound alike. They have
like pizza.
They both like pizza. They both kind of have like the same mannerisms too.
Yep.
I see a tweet from alt-right fan fiction, like that literally says this, and it was made back in August 2016.
Holy shit! Well, there you go.
You gotta invite them on the show.
Well,
like literally, this guy is on the case.
Holy shit! Well,
that was
what do you know?
2016.
Reviews were covered to avoid Zog surveillance.
Well, it makes sense, and we'll go into that whenever we do the episode. Let's see. Next for me was the Roswell episode. I thought that was pretty fun to do. I like Roswell anyway. It's just
that was good.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love talking about aliens.
That's the only episode I've yet to listen to. I got to give that one a listen.
It's pretty good. That was another one I kind of went into not knowing a lot about, but it's still fun to record.
And it was great. We had a good time. That was like an off the cuff kind of shit posty, not overly heavily researched.
I think we got a lot of info.
We could have.
It was kind of a shit posty.
Well, we could have done the thing where we do a lot of research and still sound like we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
Or we could just show up and.
Yeah, at some point you just have to bite the bullet and just record,
right,
and not know anything.
Yeah. No, you guys that was fun having on guests, guys like Justin and whatever. We've had other guys on. We did one of our better episodes that people liked last season was the Skinwalkers episode that we did.
Oh, that was a good one.
With Zev, right? Yeah, with like a random... It was really spooky. So, some of our better episodes were done almost accidentally. Like they weren't intended to be like big episodes, but they ended up being that way. So,
Yeah. Let's see. Coming in at number 9. Ted Owens. No, I'm sorry. That's the next one. Bigfoot with Asmundor.
Oh man, I like the Bigfoot with Asmundor when that was in my top 5.
We talked about Bigfoot for like 5 minutes. Like the rest of it was talking about like spiders and stuff.
No. You're thinking of when we did
the
Shadow People with Asmundor. And that was also see, now you're confusing. Now you're getting confused. This is what happens when you have a guest on multiple times. Death, you were on for the Shadow People episode, right? We talked about spiders and stuff. Yeah. Yes, we talked about spiders and stuff. Yeah. And you were not on the last one where we did not talk about spiders. And Scott is delusional.
I'm clearly delusional.
No, we did.
We talked about how his like scorpion got out of its cage or whatever, and it.
Yeah,
like,
that was last season. That was last season where we did. We did Asmodor and Shadow People. And this season we did with Asmodor was Bigfoot, because he is the living iteration of Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about his cousins, basically.
He is. In case you guys haven't seen the Vice video where he basically... You guys saw that, right?
He's just
I did.
a really racist Sasquatch.
It's a really racist Sasquatch. Oh, God. All right. So that was the one...
Then again, I've never met a Sasquatch, so maybe they are all racist.
They could, well, probably they throw rocks at people who enter their territory. So
It's possible.
Get off my lawn, nigger.
yeah, we're all niggers to Sasquatch.
Right.
Especially West Bellamy.
Well,
You might not like it, but Sasquatch is what the ideal human being looks like.
all right. So you like the Bigfoot and Asmodor episode?
I like that one. Not quite as much as I like the Ted Owens episode, the PK Man.
That was fun. I like the PK Man episode. We had a bunch of fun with that one.
I'm not always I'm convinced of maybe I would say probably like 30% of the episodes we do, but I'm convinced totally of the PK Man. Like that's definitely one that I believe.
Really?
Yeah,
Right.
totally 100% believe it.
Huh.
I think the
Well-
guy had something going on there.
All right. Well,
Wait, you don't think so?
no, I don't not think so. I think we do. I think the PK Man. No, I definitely. I believe that stuff more than most people do. I think you can't have done the things he's done in his life or known the things he's known and not at least had some sort of premonition type thing or some sort of actual power, you know?
Yeah, like I'm not necessarily saying he's bringing down airplanes with his brain, but I think something was going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
He,
But
He did
he
not
either has
have-
a supernatural gift or he's a very good guesser.
Right.
right. And I'm gonna say that his guessing abilities aren't all that. But anyways, let's take a break. We're at about 50 minutes. We're gonna break this up into 3 sections this time. Wow. Yeah. What? Wow. What?
No,
No.
we're just like not even finishing the top.
I've got.
We're not even-
I'm,
yeah, we're
well,
still
I'm
not
into
even-
my.
We're not even there yet.
I'm
Yeah.
on my top 7 now.
Yeah, we're in Scott's top 7. So
You want
we'll-
to do 2 more, and we'll come back and we'll all knock out our top 5s. You want to do that?
No. Let's
Yeah, that's
take a
good
break.
idea.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, why not?
Why
All right,
not?
whatever.
Where are
Whatever.
you going?
It'll
You wanna
take
make-
us like,
gotta
you're
do
holding
it.
us up now. You're making
wanna
it
make-
longer than it needs to be.
You want to take one break and that's it, and then do it like that?
No,
Or
I'm
you want to
saying
take 2 breaks and
I say we take a break in 5 minutes, and then we come back and we all do our top 5 because
okay.
I'll have mine, and then you guys have yours, and we'll talk about that.
Whatever. Go, God. I didn't have to pee or nothing.
See, I could have done the whole thing. Piss your pants. It's not a
Go.
fucking video.
Go.
Okay. Shit. Now you threw off my fucking groove. Oh,
Just start from the beginning.
let's just start.
God
over.
damn it. Cyclone B. We're going to talk about my blog. No, wait a minute.
We got to talk about Jim Fetzer later too.
Jim Fetzer is an important person on this show.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Dude, it was
but
awesome when I got to hear him on the show.
it was great.
Okay. It wasn't great.
I
Adam
hope
really
that Jim
doesn't
Fetzer
like him.
comes on. I hope he comes back
Well,
on
let's
after
just-
the break, and we can talk about the eclipse a little.
All right, let's talk about
Well,
that.
I think
I
Adam
wanna
was
get his
just
hot
upset
take.
that he wasn't on the episode with Jim.
Yeah,
I was on that episode.
I mean, not with him.
joined
You were
right
on
after he left.
after. I
Yeah.
mean, it was weird.
I didn't really miss out on anything, frankly.
I think you did. I think you think you're really upset about it.
Well, let's continue. Okay, we don't have to talk about this asshole. All right, let's
Okay.
move on.
All right. Well, next for me is the Elisa Lam episode.
Oh.
The girl that mysteriously drowned in that water cooler.
The
Water
second
tank.
half of
The second, yeah, if you remember, about 45 minutes ago, I discussed the first half of this episode.
Yeah.
Way back
As
at the
the
beginning.
worst episode you were on.
As the worst as the worst episode. But number 7 is the second half of the episode where Bradshaw wasn't responsible for.
No, that was a
I
really
thought it
good
was
part.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, we talked about
I'm
how,
still not convinced of what happened either.
No, me
It's
neither.
still
That's a
mystery to me.
really crazy story. Like how she ended up there without anybody knowing about it, without anybody being there, without anybody seeing anything. It's really, really creepy. So,
Yeah. Finally, number 6, and you can go pee, is the
Thanks.
Ruby Ridge / Waco episode that
Oh,
we just
wow.
did.
oh wow,
Oh,
only
geez.
number
Long
6.
Triggering.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
Probably.
so fucking angry.
Probably
Yeah.
the most angering. Here's the thing: is like people were saying to me, people were coming up to me all week. They're like, Johnny, that was a really great episode, man. But it wasn't a conspiracy theory because you guys literally put out 0 theoretical points. Everything was fact.
Yeah, there was no conjecture at all in that episode. That was
There's
probably
literally
our most
0. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a real event that actually you can prove happened.
Yeah.
And it's just
It happened the
unbelievably
way
rustling.
the way that they said. Even the way that they said it happens is fucked up. Like
Yeah.
everything
for
about it.
both Waco and Ruby, both of just incredibly.
Yeah.
I actually saw. I think yesterday, there was some Facebook post in some unrelated group. It was some weapons group, and they were talking about it, and someone actually dropped that episode in there. So
Yeah, that was.
thanks to whoever that was.
I saw that. Yeah, that was awesome. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
people listen to the show. I'm glad people do because we can get some stuff out there that is not necessarily normal human consumption type facts. So
Yeah, that was not the most rustling episode for me though. But
No?
we'll get back.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Oh,
My
I know what the most
rustling
rustling. I know what your most
Don't
rustling
spoil-
episode
don't
is.
spoil.
Yeah.
I
Don't
won't spoil.
That was
I won't
most
spoil.
rustling for a lot of people, but me as well. It was one of my top 3 most rustling episodes. Mostly because I have a kid and
Well, see, now you're spoiling it. You can't.
Wow.
well,
Spoiled.
no. What I'm saying is
Shut up,
no.
Johnny.
Wow.
No, what I'm saying is I'm talking about Ruby. I'm talking about Ruby Ridge, and they shot Sam
yeah.
Weaver. They shot Sam Weaver. And these were just 2 guys in the bushes. Like they didn't identify themselves as FBI agents or whatever, and they shot this kid's dog. Like what the hell? What the hell is this kid supposed to do? So before getting even more into Ruby Ridge and Waco and all that, let's take a break. This hour we will listen to some Patty Tarleton and some Charlottesville music, and we'll be back. All right.
Oh, that's a good Segu right there.
All right. We're gonna listen. To
Did you say Segu?
Yes.
It's a daily show of me.
Okay.
This one goes out to the mayor of Charlottesville. In the year of 17, on a hot Virginia street, the Jews' Talmudic army swarmed toward us. And in the face of death, we had watched our old world swept away, and now a war is coming swiftly. Come out, you anti-fash, come out and get your faces smashed. Show the world how you take refuge in the system. Show them how you cowards hide, advocate white genocide. Cops and feds are all in bed with the rest. Oh, how you faggots screamed when you gathered on live stream, surrounding cars as they fled while you bragged. Till one of your wagoners drove his black Dodge Challenger straight through the horde and killed one of the scumbags. Come out, you anti-fash, come out and get your faces smashed. Show the world how you take refuge refuge in the system. Show 'em how you cowards hide. Advocate white genocide. Cops and feds are all in bed with the Reds. Let that Jew there brag away to his monkey Bellamy, how they halted what was a legal assembly. But what are rights today if they'll just snatch them away? Take warning, we will spare none of our enemy. Come out, you anti-flash, come out and get your faces smashed. Show the world how you take refuge in the system. Show 'em how you cowards hide. Advocate white genocide. Cops and feds are all in bed with the Reds. Yeah. Now a shift is in the wind, and we're rising once again. Curse upon your wretched system and your empire. The end for you is nigh. The black sun rises high. Your world is set now to expire forever. Come out, you anti-flash. Come out and get your faces smashed. Show the world how you take refuge in the system. Show 'em how you cowards hide. Advocate white genocide. Cops and feds are all in bed with the Reds. Come out, you anti-flash. Come out and get your faces smashed. Show the world how you take refuge in the system. Yeah, show 'em how you cowards hide. Advocate white genocide. Cops and feds are all in bed with the Reds.
All right, everybody, we're back. This is still the Paranormies present the Ahnenerbe Hour. I'm still Johnny Monoxide with Death, Adam Haidt, Scott Taylor, Musonius, Rufus, Bradshaw, Wilson. What's up, guys? We're talking about our top episodes. Actually, we're running through all the episodes from this past season with Scott, and we're up to Scott's top 5.
Yeah, so now we can finally do our top 5s, and I can shut up for a while.
You're doing a good job, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good job remembering stuff that we forgot. So,
good job on me remembering stuff I wrote down. It's really, right. I've got really good reading skills. I'm really proud of them. Yeah. So for me, my top 5, my number 5 is probably the Oklahoma City bombing. I thought that was fantastic, especially like Musonius basically made that episode with all of his wealth of information that he brought to the table.
Yeah, that episode was great.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't give a more definite. I mean, there's 2 basic theories, conspiracy theories that are underneath it, but all the evidence points to the official story is bullshit. You know, so I'm pretty proud to have known that. You know.
Oh, I have no doubt that the official story is bullshit. like zero after that episode, and just doing even the tiniest like precursor of research, I'm convinced it was complete bullshit. I don't know if he was set up as the fall guy or if I don't really know, but I'm completely convinced that the official story of what happened in Oklahoma City is not what happened.
Yeah, and it's really scary to me how little evidence the American people demand from these like earth-shattering events that change American history. You know, they don't need a lot of evidence. You know,
no. Basically, you have someone on the news say it, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Right. I mean, that's all it takes. I mean, they'll disown other people for disagreeing with the TV. You know, their friends and family. You know.
Well, one of the most interesting things about Oklahoma City was the that one station that actually didn't change their story when they were talking about. Right. I think they were talking about like multiple people on the scene and this, that, and the other, and they actually didn't change the story. And then they went off the air a couple months later.
Yeah, they ended up losing their whatever their
license.
Their license, yeah.
Yeah. Or that cop that was one of the first responders, and he got like drug out into the middle of a field and shot and had his throat slit and all that shit.
That was a hell of a
suicide. It was suicide.
Yeah, he committed
suicide. It was a horrible suicide. Yeah.
Yeah,
he committed suicide in possibly the worst way possible, where he beat himself to death.
Right? Like, dude, just Just shoot yourself in the head. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but very honorable.
Yeah.
Seppuku.
Seppuku, he beat himself to death in a field for 20 minutes before he choked himself out with like his left hand facing,
Yeah, and then
there were so many
he shot
amazing
himself
things. Yeah, and he shot himself like
from
5
3 feet
times in the
away.
head.
Like,
Yeah. The discipline this man had, the prince.
He literally
like,
teleported behind himself.
Well, do you remember he told someone on the phone, like the night he died, like, yeah, I'll meet you after I get these feds off my ass or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, he said he was being trailed by feds, and then he showed up dead, like, the next morning. And come on. It's a documented fact that happened.
I mean, I almost want to believe that it wasn't true. But
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
no. But I mean, I want to believe that my government doesn't do that kind of stuff. But and again, I remember who they work for.
Right.
So,
Reptiles.
That's right.
I work for the reptiles. We should do some David Icke stuff at some point. I really want to.
I know. I do too. I'm just a listen to this. And it's like it's so triggering just to hear these stories again where it's possible reptilians did this. And, it's just David Icke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jews, that's a crazy conspiracy. It's the fucking reptiles.
Right.
Right? It's like
I wonder if David Icke just is afraid to say anything about Jews, and that's why he says reptiles. I really don't know. Like,
No, dude, I listened to. I think it was his Red Ice interview where he started talking about something that was very interesting. Where I know Musonius is on, but it was basically about a Freemason cover up of a pedophile ring in Scotland, and then out of nowhere he just started talking about reptiles being involved too, and I was just like, all right, well now I don't believe anything you said.
And see, I can't help
That's what
but wonder
the
if
Masons want you
maybe
to think. Yeah.
are the Masons reptiles?
Little do we realize that Musonius is a salamander.
Right.
all right, you guys, stop it. Leave Musonius alone.
Be nice to the guests. Don't
Monoxide is
accuse
actually
the guests of
salamander,
being
'cause
salamanders.
He's afraid that we're like getting onto the salamander line.
I'm still getting like positive feedback from the masonry crossover episode that we did. So
Well, it was a crossover in as much as I fell asleep in 10 minutes while the show was on.
yeah, but the fans love that. They love dancing you over.
They do. They're like, oh, Johnny fell asleep. Oh, yeah, it was great.
I mean, it's
It'll
funny,
be
but
fine.
it causes problems sometimes.
Oh, shit, sometimes.
What? Did you fall asleep into your microphone just now? What
No,
happened?
my microphone stand just fell off just literally
The
fell off
hypoxia
my
hit.
desk.
Dozing off and bang your head on the mic.
No, I'm literally like.
He's drifting.
I
There
don't
he
know what's
goes.
going on. I'm gonna mute. my
Which
mic
is
and
which
then
is
I'm gonna-
worse, do you think, Johnny falling asleep or Johnny ice cream posting?
Hey,
Ice cream
dude, I can
posting.
fucking hear you, Brad.
No, I know.
I don't remember ice cream posting.
You don't remember
That
ice
was-
cream
that was
posting
season
because
one.
that was season 1, and you didn't want to be on that episode because I don't know. I don't want to fix my fucking thing.
Well,
damn
what
it.
was number 4?
Yeah, you guys go ahead
Oh.
you guys go ahead and talk about that. I'm gonna.
All right.
Right. So,
Okay.
Y'all mind if I?
Yeah. So number 5 was Oklahoma. City
Number
bomb.
4. Number 4 for me was the Salem witch trials with Patty Tarleton. I really enjoyed that one. It was one of my favorites.
That guy
Specifically, it was my number 4 favorite. Dude, holy shit, he was so smart about all of that stuff. Like, he's dropping like all these names and dates and events that I had no idea existed. I was really blown away by it.
Patty had
Yeah,
a
man.
world of knowledge that nobody else did on that show. That's why he carried that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get that guy started on fucking this particular region of the country, and he just won't stop.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. He's a veritable
knows
wealth of
everything.
knowledge. Yeah.
Well, I also liked that one a lot just because it was kind of off the beaten path for us. I mean, we didn't really cover too many explicitly paranormal things. I mean, the episode title was Salem Witch Trials, but I don't think we even got into the trials themselves until like
Well,
the
mostly
last
it was
year.
about the girls that were, kidnapped and taken away by savage Indians. You know.
Yeah. As far as atmospherics go, I think it was probably the best episode. As far as setting a scene, and I mean, you really you listen to it and you're there. You know.
He also hit really well on King Philip's War, which is the alleged origins of the Bridgewater Triangle, the episode from season 1.
Yeah, that's also true.
So that's something we've had conversations about before.
Oh, the Bridgewater Triangle. There was a very haunted house. Yeah. That house deserves half an episode at least because the number of witnesses.
In the Bridgewater, which one is like several haunted houses?
Yeah, there's several haunted houses. I'll go find which one I'm talking about. But it was a very small house, and it had a lot of levitation. That police officer saw, all sorts of people saw it, and it went on for a while.
Are you talking about the Bell Witch?
No, I'm talking about up in New England.
Okay, yeah. Where's the Bell Witch? Was that Kentucky?
That was Pennsylvania, I thought. Was it Tennessee?
Okay, Tennessee.
No, the Bell Witch is Tennessee's most famous paranormal event.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
we got to do an episode on the Bell Witch. That'll be a great one.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll go there. We'll go check it out live. Well, while people are there.
Right. Well, it's
another thing. Well, that's another thing that people have been asking if we can get done is to do some sort of live Paranormies type stuff. So, we're gonna try and get a Paranormies van funded. And
are we?
Yeah, no, we are. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. So, okay. We've had dude. Listen, we've had people ask us about this on more than 10 occasions. If everybody donated $5-10, we'd already have this funded. So, we're gonna do like live Paranormies posting. We have GoPro cameras. I already have all that stuff. We have cameras and recording equipment. All we need to do is be able to get there and be able to, take 3-4 days to do it.
Well, that might be a season 4 or 5.
Yeah, yeah, that's a season. Maybe it's a season 4. Maybe it's a late season 3. We'll see. But people have been asking for it.
I got other things to do. I can't drive to Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't think I wasn't asking you.
Okay.
You can be in the studio. We can do Scott in the studio.
I'll be the dispatcher.
I don't know. Adam doesn't have a job right at this particular moment. Like Adam and somebody go to, I don't know, I'm using you as an example, but go check out something and report in on it for the Paranormies.
Well, the bus is going to be like a cross between the Mystery Machine and like George Lincoln Rockwell's Hate Bus, which is going to be fun.
Yes, that's the best part about it. That's the best part about it is it's going to be like a 50-50.
Well, if you guys want to come up this way, in Massachusetts they do tours of the USS Salem and the USS Massachusetts, which are both supposedly haunted. I've slept on both when I was a Boy Scout on like overnight trips. So I remember one of them. I can't remember which one, but I did like hear strange things going on the ship that weren't explainable.
Well, we're gonna do that. It's gonna be it'll be part of, I don't know, extra content that we do because we've already got the Ahnenerbe Hour. We're doing Tales from the Campfire. And are we going to be bringing any more content?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What else are we going to be doing?
Well, you want me to talk about it because I was waiting for the.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was stepping.
I mean, I can announce it that we're going to be doing the Paranormies present the Vault 88 files, which is going to be a lot shorter, a lot more scripted, probably like 5 to 10 minutes each on various urban legends, locations, people that don't really have enough there to be a full episode, but there's still something that's interesting that should be talked about.
Okay. That's 3 titles plus whatever other content we can come up with. All right. So What was this last one? This was number 5, Scott?
That was 4.
That was 4?
Yeah. The
What's
Witch
number-
Trials. Number 3 is, I don't know, this one might almost be my favorite. I had a hard time deciding, but the Missing 411 episode.
Missing 411 was a lot of people's favorite episode.
Yeah, that was
I have to say
definitely a fan
that
favorite.
was definitely a fan favorite. We got a lot of emails, a lot of comments.
You fuckers ruined camping trips for me.
We ruined
ruined
camping trips for a lot of people.
myself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not doing that shit anymore. Are you kidding me?
It ruined
did
it
it.
for me. I mean, I got to share the misery. So
Yeah.
I had to fucking handcuff my girlfriend to me when we were fucking walking through the woods.
Yeah. Like,
Implying
no thanks. I wouldn't even be walking in the woods in the first place.
right.
not with your girlfriend. No, so I said not with his girlfriend. Never mind.
Well, okay.
So everybody went out in the woods and like came back. So how did you guys manage to do that after like we basically, sealed your fate by doing the 411 episode?
One spooky thing was one of my cabins that I stayed in was in the middle of a boulder field on a mountain. So,
Oh yeah, all the classic telltales like Boulder Fields.
and then you guys, you saw the pictures of that other time I went camping and I wore like a highlighter yellow fucking like Under Armour.
Yeah, you're just
So, dude,
begging.
what are you doing? You're asking for
I
it.
wanna party with some fey folk,
Yeah, you want the Sasquatch and fairies to rape you. Apparently,
dude. No, I just want
Fairy.
to
look how he was dressed. I mean,
You're asking for it. Look at all these bright.
He was asking for it. Yeah.
yeah,
Going with Jack Donovan in the woods, huh? Looking for fairies.
That's the fairy you need to watch out for.
Nerd.
Oh my god.
Hey guys, we're a bunch of fairies in the woods.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Anyway,
That meme again. All right.
yeah, that's still the one. Like, that's still probably the episode that I would recommend to someone who is a new listener who wanted to hear.
I
Yeah,
I send that one to
411,
everyone
411,
who asks
yeah.
me what the Paranormies are.
Yeah, that's still the one I send to people,
Okay.
even though it's number 3.
Oh.
Yeah, number 2 for me was Sandy Hoax. Just because I feel like we did a pretty decent job of demonstrating that Sandy Hoax wasn't real. And
Yeah,
also,
people are still really, really mad about that one.
saying that, like, what, were shells or whatever?
That it was like that. How dare you say it was a hoax? Those children died.
But-
Yeah. Okay.
I have a complaint because you guys conceded that Adam Lanza is real, and I'm not.
No, we
100%
didn't. No, we
convinced of
didn't. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we
said Adam
didn't.
Lanza was real.
No, I know. We said Adam Lanza could have been real.
that. He was.
You said at the episode that you thought Adam Lanza was real, but he didn't do anything.
Is that what I
thought
said?
that was what we.
Is that what I
is
said?
what you said.
All right.
Yes.
I'm probably like the least conspiratorial person in this group right now. But dude, still that fucking Sandy Hoax just raises so many red flags.
No, I'm gonna say that Adam Lanza was an actual person, but he committed nothing.
Right.
So-
That's basically what I think as well.
Okay.
But I also like the Sandy Hoax episode because we had probably our biggest guest so far.
Oh God, yeah,
Jim
like
Fetzer.
Jim Fetzer. I couldn't believe Adam. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Just because, like, look, dude, it's not your fault. You had to work.
Yeah, you missed him by seconds. I mean, literally, seconds.
Literally, like he hung up the call and you picked up the call. Like,
Okay, can
almost
I
the same
just
time.
say I gotta break the fourth wall. I cannot believe there are people that actually thought that was real.
Shh.
Sorry.
So we're gonna go
There
back
were
into
people-
Adam. People still think it's real, Adam. Like,
There were literally for weeks afterward. people like in the comment.
People were so mad about that. They were
everybody
so
was saying
mad.
that guy's a complete asshole, and I agree.
People were very split on the Jim Fetzer thing. People either loved it and thought it was the funniest thing they've ever heard,
Or they hated it and they
absolutely
fucking wanted to
detested
kill
it.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, like there were people in the comments of that episode who were like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever heard," and then like right below it, it'd be like, "Skip to 17 minutes and 50 seconds for the show."
Otherwise, kill yourself. Like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I liked how polarizing it was.
It was one of our better episodes.
Yeah,
Top quality guest.
yeah, Jim Fetzer was
No,
fantastic.
but okay.
All right.
Well, I wonder
whatever,
how
dude.
his raccoons are. I want to know how his raccoons are doing. If he's
I mean,
still having all these raccoon
He
problems.
doesn't have raccoons.
Oh, he did.
No.
Is this another conspiracy theory we're getting into that Jim Fetzer's raccoons
He
don't
has
exist?
farm animals. Not that I would know.
Okay.
Oh god. That's right. He has farm animals that were attacked by raccoons. That's
right.
what happened.
Maybe
Okay.
if you actually paid attention to what was going on here.
I'm just gonna not pay attention. Anyways, so Scott, your number three episode was Jim
Number
Fetzer.
3. Well, no, that was number 2, dude.
Oh,
Do the
what's
drum
your
roll.
do the
Da, 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 yeah. Number 1 for me, and I'm not saying it because I enjoyed it, but the
What was that?
pedo tube.
Oh
the
god.
pedo tube episode.
Yeah, that was literally.
I didn't enjoy it one bit. I hated
No,
that episode.
I can say that I hated that episode more than any other episode, but it was one of the ones that I was the most well prepared to do. I done
there
the
was
most research.
that, but
we had
it
we had
wasn't so much
guests.
that. It was that people thought like we were getting messages from people saying like, my nieces and nephews were watching the shit, and then I
Yeah.
told my brother about it, and they stopped.
Yeah.
So that's why it was number 1 for me, was because there were actually people who actually became aware of this stuff from that, and
No,
stopped their
100%
kids from
agreed.
watching it.
100% agreed. We had many people who were like, "Oh my god!" Friends of ours who've been on the show. Larry, he said he heard his daughter had been playing something like that. A couple of these other guys on our people who've been on the show have kids or nephews or nieces or whatever who have heard these same like ridiculous sing-songy songs. Oh god, just fuck my kids shit up, fam. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, I'm glad that we did it, and I would do it again if I had to. But that being said, it was by far my least favorite episode to actually record and do research for. Like I'd rather listen to Bradshaw clusterfuck his way through a hotel episode 500 times in a row before I have to hear the Daddy Finger song
I
one more
still
time.
have no recollection of what you were talking about. I don't think that ever happened.
I know you
Send me the
have no
sound-
recollection.
send me the SoundCloud link. Send me the SoundCloud link because I'm pretty
I
sure
can't send you the I can't send you the SoundCloud link now. You
Exactly.
faggot. But I actually have the MP3. So shut up.
Yeah,
No,
I
you
also
don't.
do.
Want to bet?
That's not real.
Want to
I mean,
bet?
you could doctor
You
that.
guys were like one of the first movers on that conspiracy theory, though. I mean,
We were. No, we were literally
Yeah.
one of the top. Yeah. Once
Well,
the
I think that X did it first. So one of those 4chan boards, I think, is where it originated. And
It ended up
but it blew up after.
well, that's where those guys came from, was from X.
Yeah.
yeah, but you guys got the signal out, is what I'm saying. It's like you did
Oh,
a
yeah.
good job.
I think it did blow up after we
Yeah.
actually released the episode. And I don't know where Rybo is, that guest we had for the episode, but I mean, he did a fantastic job as well. I really, really thought that guy came through for us.
Yeah, I've been in contact with him periodically. Helped him out with some other stuff they did. He's
He's a good guy.
Those guys are doing God's work.
Yep, they
Yeah.
are. We're all in contact
But-
with them.
That being said, I'm never going back and listening.
No, why would you? That's fucking gross. Let's
Yeah.
not do that.
I listen,
All right.
well, I listen to all the other ones.
So,
All right, you're up.
Yeah, what's yours?
yeah, mine. Oh well, fifth place is a tie. the episode 4, which is Missing 411, and the Asmodor Bigfoot episode. I like those two.
Yeah, those were both
a lot.
fantastic.
Yeah. I was just looking at some of the stuff that we were going over for the for that ribo pedo tube thing. It just like fucks my head up. So
yeah,
I'm gonna apologize for the last 5 minutes. I just like looking at those things where it's like pictures of little girls who are pregnant and getting stabbed and whatever. It's just just not.
That was a very important episode, but it wasn't the most fun by any stretch.
Right.
No, it was literally probably one of the least fun episodes that we had a ton of content to go with. So it's a really weird combination, like having the amount of content that we had in a such a dark place. Anyways, all right. So, yeah. Bigfoot and Asmodor. Anytime we have Asmodor on the show, it's a lot of fun. We did 2 hours last season. We talked about spiders and like shadow people who show up on people's porches. And this season we did Bigfoot.
Wait, did you
with Asmodor?
Did you say dark people on porches?
Well, I didn't say porch monkeys, but
you implied it.
I did not imply it.
So you say.
No, I wasn't implying that. Anyway, okay, Asmodor, Bigfoot, and Missing 411 is my tie for 5th place. 4th place, I have episode 17, which is the Clinton scandals. I did not differentiate the Larry Nichols part of that. I mean, if you guys listen to the Larry Nichols episodes, you can hear him just like thank us for our service or whatever, and he thanked a man named Death, which was that was one of my favorite parts of the whole show, where he's talking to you. He's like, well, this is Death, and he's not like taking my life from me, and like, I don't know, this is fucking hilarious. You guys remember that?
That was the very boomer posty. Boomer.
Yeah. He's like, and Death's like, yes, they call me Death on the internet. He said, well, I just don't want to die. I don't remember. It's fucking great. All right. So for my 3rd place episode, I have to say episode 13, Patty Tarleton and the Salem witch trials, talking about New England savage Native Americans. I don't think people really understand the amount that the people that came to New England had to deal with these fucking savages, literal savages. They were trying to kill them,
People are so used to, meeting the fucking Indian at the casino, they don't understand the fucking where that person came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were so many. There was the whole point of the Salem witch trials is that these girls were tormented by Native Americans. They were actually like tortured and raped and had bad things done to them by these natives, that they actually that people thought that they were doing things that were spiritual. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
it wasn't actually like anything like supernatural. It was just girls that had been raped and tortured.
Yeah, I think the word orcs was what we came up with at the end of the episode to describe it, and
yes,
I thought that was pretty accurate.
Yes.
Are you talking about the Native Amerindian menace?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is The War Before Civilization, and it's about how many hecatombs, slaughters that have been unearthed, from the American Indians, like, whole tribes, whole nations, put under the sword and the women taken off and raped. So, they'll just find, these burial sites where the whole tribes were slaughtered. So, yeah, it's the myth of the noble savage that we're dealing with. There's nothing noble about the savage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's especially interesting in the context of the Solutrean hypothesis, in which, like, much more, like, Proto-Aryan, Proto-European peoples were the actual first group.
Right.
And that's pretty obvious from, like, ironworking sites and various, like, archaeological, finds that are far superior to anything that the supposed natives ever had.
I can't wait to hear an episode on that, honestly.
Well, on the Solutrean thing?
Yeah.
Well, we'll add it to next season.
Yeah, there were white tribes before the white man got here, for sure, because everyone agrees that the Crow, they had some sort of Caucasian in them. They were considered the most beautiful of the Amerindian tribes.
Well, that's because they were white.
What I'm saying is, it's because they got those genes,
Well, also, if you want to get into, like, Cortez being mistaken for Quetzalcoatl by the Aztecs as well, because this Aztec mythology was basically that these gods came from elsewhere and taught them how to, like, plant crops and this, that, and the other. Basically taught them civilization, taught them, like, calendars and how to build pyramids.
Right.
And then, of course, they disappeared, and it was prophesized that they'd come back. Well, sure enough, was it Cortez, or am I making it myself? I hope it was Cortez.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
No, it's Cortez.
He had red hair, and he was pale, and basically fit the description of one of their gods to a T. So
yeah, Quetzalcoatl. He left on a raft of snakes in the Gulf, and was supposed to come back about the time Cortez showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting at the very least. I think it helps to I don't want to say confirm, but I think it's a little more circumstantial evidence for the whole Solutrean hypothesis, and
I do like the Solutrean hypothesis. To be fair, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm actually a big believer in it.
Yeah,
we should do a whole bunch of We Was episodes.
Okay,
We Was everything.
We was going to We Was Kang.
Well, there's
Egyptian,
like the Chinese mummies that are white.
But the smoking gun, if you're talking about the Solutrean hypothesis, the biggest evidence or the biggest link, until we have all that DNA figured out, computed out, because it's pretty complicated.
Right.
The smoking gun is the overshoot technique that the Clovis used, to make their arrowheads, their spearheads.
The Clovis man.
Yeah. Like when Amerindians came in like 3 different waves. And that first wave had the most advanced spear points, and they used a glancing overshot technique when they were flaking their flint, to make it razor sharp. And the only other place in the world where that happened was the Solutreans, in France.
That's right.
So they're thinking that they got this technique, from the people that they wiped out, or
and that makes sense.
The remnants, yeah. So, and the remnants became part of different American Indian tribes, like the Crow.
Right.
All right.
So sorry to go off on the tangent.
Coming up on number 2.
Yeah.
After that, I really liked the episode we did with Ribo and Pedo Tube. I don't like the episode. I like the fact that we covered a lot of content. We got a lot of help out there to people who don't understand what's going on. We got a lot of people involved in this that wouldn't normally have been involved. It's a really disturbing topic where you're talking about little kids like, viewing videos and whatever.
Yeah.
It's really gross. But yeah, we got it out there, and a lot of people.
It was like a public service announcement, really.
It really was. It really was a PSA. We had a couple of videos in our YouTube that were done by Rybo and his friends. If any of you have any information, just send it along, and we'll work on it. We're still trying to catch these fuckers. So, anyways, my number one episode that I feel that I enjoyed the most was the Sandy Hoax episode. Started off with our good friend, or not good friend, whatever you want to call him, Jim Fetzer. Adam, you remember when Jim came on, right? That was
vaguely.
Yeah.
It didn't really seem very important.
No, I know, but it was good. It was good. We had a lot of fun with Jim. He did some stuff. He talked about some things. Sandy Hook, and the things that happened on that day. Whether or not you believe Jim Fetzer's story, you need to believe what happened in Newtown, Connecticut that day. It was a very disturbing episode.
I heard he's releasing a new book called and I assume you think Adam Lanza is real too.
Okay.
Is that
It's a working title. He's still working on it.
Okay.
The subtitle is "You fucking idiot."
Right? Come on, guys.
We shouldn't leak that. That was trusted information.
We shouldn't. Yeah, it's trusted information. And
he sent me a carrier pigeon.
The Sandy Hook episode. Sandy Hoax is one of my favorite conspiracies to pontificate on, and to speculate on, and to do research on. I am of the belief that no children were injured at the quote-unquote Sandy Hook scene, and our government has actors that perpetrate falsehoods for the news. I don't know.
Color me surprised.
Yeah.
Imagine my shock.
I know. You guys want to pontificate on that at all?
Well, I mean, basically what you said is true. I don't really... I think you said it. I don't really know how to elaborate further.
I know.
No,
how much... like, they don't... They kill kids when they need to. They say they killed kids when they don't have to. So, yeah.
I also think that's another good those beginner episodes, like the Missing 411, because you can kind of get someone involved with that, and you can see that there's a lot of loose threads involved with the whole Sandy Hoax case.
Yep.
Right.
Because you just pull one of those threads and the whole thing fucking comes apart.
It's true. So.
Well, all right.
All right. Well, what else do we have?
You got one, don't you? What's your
I'm a top 5. All right. So,
top 5.
number 5. I'm going to say the deep underground military bases, specifically for Phil Schneider's story. Because I think that his story does not really have any of the trappings of like fraud that you would expect, right? I mean, probably the smoking gun in that one was his murder that was passed off as a suicide, which is a pretty pretty common tactic used by the deep state there.
Yeah, definitely. And that was definitely a murder. That was not a suicide.
Yeah, the state of it, especially because he was telling people like, hey, if they say I committed suicide, that's bullshit.
And and he had a thing, medical cord wrapped around his neck.
Right.
He was severely beaten. I mean, the dude was hamburger when he was found.
Yeah, you can find the pictures too.
It's nasty.
Looked like a schnitzel.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, so number 4. Also just about the dumps. Like, it's just a really fascinating story. It's got action. It's got intrigue. It's really hard. It's like a fun little exercise in cognitive dissonance. Because Phil Schneider, I think, was not lying. I don't think he was lying, and I don't think he was crazy. But at the same time, like, the story is just so, like, wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, my number 4 is Sandy Hoax, with the caveat that it really doesn't get good until about 17 minutes and 50 seconds in. That's when the episode
Really? Because I
I
thought the first part was the best part.
It didn't really contribute anything at all.
No,
I
it
don't
was
want
when
to
Jim
talk about.
Fetzer,
I don't
Jim
want to
Fetzer
talk
was
about
there.
that guy.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I actually have to agree with Scott. I think like the first 18 minutes are the best part.
well, you know what's
it's
actually
literally
really
one of the
interesting?
best. Really,
What's
really,
actually
good,
really
good
interesting
stuff.
about this story, and I will
What's
go on
interesting was
record.
Jim Fetzer coming on.
I will go on record saying that I am probably the most credulous of the official account out of all of us. Not by much, but I'm not totally like throwing it completely out. But what I think is much more interesting is what is basically the Sandy Hoax Internet Defense Force. Because if you go on anywhere, any website, anywhere that enables comments, there's probably a group of people who go and they will say, like, oh, you people are crazy. What's wrong with you? I knew people at Sandy Hook. And you go, and it's every place that has, like, presenting an alternate story to the official story. And it's incredible because it even happened on our little, like 4-digit YouTube, 4-digit views YouTube video, where some guy in the comments, what?
I mean, don't sell us short, but you know.
Well, I'm saying, like, think about the amount of exposure, and yet this guy shows up. Somebody in the comments mentioned, hey, I wonder if that weird dude that's going to say he knew somebody at Sandy Hook is going to show up, and he did. He goes in there, and the way that they post is, like, so obviously there's a conscious technique in the sort of the rhetorical style that they use, where it's purely emotionally driven. It's to shame. It's like heavy shaming tactics, but it's so similar. It like has all these. It's like they have a little checklist of things they're supposed to say.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
to
even
look
like,
at who who rules over you. Simply look at who you're not allowed to criticize.
Right, but I see it, like, I'll even see it
Thanks,
on random
Voltaire.
4chan threads. Like, I'm browsing 4chan and Sandy Hook gets brought up, and every now and then you see this stuff get posted. But anyway, my number 3.
I just looked it up. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Same thing with the,
No, go ahead.
Same thing with the Holocaust.
Well, I was going to
You know.
say, I just looked it up. That video on YouTube, at least, has 3,000 views. And sure enough, this guy somehow basically talks about how we're falling for tricks and we're all morons because we believe in crisis actors and Sandy Hoax and blah, blah, blah. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, how many times was this guy on our false flag episode? Was he on any other episode that we're talking about a conspiracy?
I doubt this dude made a single other comment on anything else.
So
Well-
that's freaking creepy, or I guess annoying.
That guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, my number 3 is the Oklahoma City bombing episode we did. Because, well, we already know it was a good episode because our boy Musonius Rufus was on for that one.
Of course.
But that episode is just such a slam dunk. Like, it's just so freaking obvious that the government, like the ATF and all these other alphabet soup agencies, like, intentionally blew up a building next to a daycare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To as part of probably PatCon and to protect the Clintons, because all those Whitewater documents were, conveniently stored there in the building they decided to blow up.
There's so many levels of convenience in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, the Clintons are not subtle people,
Right.
and
Oklahoma City was probably the best thing that could have happened to the Clintons.
How so?
yeah, and I mean, it's sick to say
How
it.
so?
but-
The best thing.
What we were just talking about, like the all the Whitewater dogs disappearing. They were able to crack down on militia.
Oh yeah,
movements afterwards.
like the actual thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it got rid of all their got rid of a lot of enemies. Let me tell you, the militia movement was building since Ruby
Right.
Ridge, and it just took all the power out of it. And you got the assault weapons ban.
Right.
It sort of rubber stamped the assault weapons ban, and all those documents that were involved, and Janet Reno, it has to be the tough cop rooting out all the militia groups throughout the country. I mean, it was a godsend.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
poor
definitely
white
was.
people were the enemy again, and that's the way they like it. So,
Yeah, as usual.
Anyway, so my number 2 is gonna be PedoTube.
Oh.
Pretty popular one and I picked that one for a few reasons. One, because Wit was like, we helped to get that one off the ground, and it feels pretty good being able to help produce like what is functionally a public service announcement. Like that stuff needed to get out. It's disgusting and it's terrible, but it needed to get out. And I'm glad that, like finally all the time I spent on 4chan paid off, that I was there when it really started to blow up, and we were able to get into contact with the people who are doing the really, really hard hitting investigations. And it's the subject matter is obviously disturbing, but there's that sort of detective work feeling you get, like rooting through
Yeah.
like what are like likely some kind of criminal conspiracy.
Right.
I just kind of wish we could have gotten to the bottom of it,
Yeah, I really do.
It's
I mean, I feel
gonna be
like
a long time.
I mean, like they've made it so that videos can't be monetized that are attached to like copyrighted characters or whatever.
Well, it's inappropriate usage of like family friendly icons.
Right. So like, did that cut down on the videos? No, it actually didn't. It actually didn't. So
Yeah. Like their sort of non-response to it, it kind of looks worse because they're acknowledging it and then being
Yep.
like putting a band-aid on cancer.
Right.
yeah, it's really disturbing what's going on with that. We're gonna have to come back and touch on that again this next season. So we'll be back.
Yeah, we ought to
with
do an
some more.
update. That'd be great.
Yeah, we will. We have people
And
all
so
in the soup on both sides. So we'll get their take on everything. So what was
that
your number two?
yeah, that was my
What was your
number
number
two. My
one?
number is going to be Missing 411.
Wow.
And in my opinion, that is the best episode we've ever done. It was chock full of content, presented fantastically, and it actually scared like the piss out of me. Like I was seriously frightened, like sitting here in my like pretty well lit, bedroom. Like I was spooked hard.
It was a terrifying episode.
It really was.
Yeah,
It was
and that also-
like things that can get you in the woods while you're hiking. Are you kidding me?
The one story that really set me over the edge was the guy who, maybe we didn't hear that story until afterwards. Someone sent it in or something, but they like passed. They had to like push through some bushes or something. Him and
Oh,
his friend.
That
yeah.
was a listener email after the fact.
It was.
Yeah, and he turns around and it's not there, and I was just like, oh, that imagery,
Yeah.
like that scene, it like stuck with me.
Yeah.
It freaks me out just like
This is very, very scary.
now even. And yeah, that one, if anybody ever talks to me about the Paranormies, like that is always the one I say, like, oh, if you haven't, don't know anything about it, watch
Check
Missing
this story
401.
out.
It's
Yep.
absolutely spooky.
That was a great episode. That was a great episode, and that's a great story to go along with it because that one really creeped me out too.
I'm sorry. I think I forgot I was on. Was I on that one?
You were
Yeah,
on
you were
that
on that
missing phone,
Yeah, yeah.
dude. Yeah, you were totally were.
Nigga, you were like leading that episode.
Yeah, I did a bunch of podcasts in a row that week.
Yeah, I remember it was like you were like, I just don't even know what's going on right now. It's like 3 days into podcasting. It's like me after Charlottesville. It's like me after Charlottesville. I was like, I'm just gonna hang on, and we're gonna podcast our way out of this. This is gonna happen. So.
You're right. You're right about the spooky factor on that, though. That's why
Yeah.
I remember the stories. I mean, I like just going outside in the dark to smoke after you've been hearing those stories. You're like, what?
Dude,
no, I don't think I'll do that.
No, there's a lot of spooky stories
Oh, God,
that
it's
like
I'm into the dark to get to the bathroom. Oh God.
Yeah. We turn on the hall light. Like I'm literally like 2
What am
steps
I,
away from the
10
bathroom,
again?
but I gotta turn on. Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, but seriously, like that's how you know that shit is real, because you can feel it in your bones. You can feel that shit in your bones. It's not just some sort of weird, fake thing. It's actually in your bones. You feel it in your spine, in your being. So it's real. I'm gonna say that the supernatural and spoopy and scare the shit out of you is real. It's happened to me very many times. Yeah, it's happened to me very many times this season, listening to you guys tell stories and shit. Fuck, you guys scare the hell out of me. Like I gotta go to sleep, and I'm like I can't, because Musonius and this dude was telling the stories, and now it's like super scary. And I looked it up, and fuck, and now there's like ghost things and
Things that go bump in the night.
Yes,
that could
things
bump you in the night.
That's right. I'm not getting bumped. Sleep with one eye.
Okay, hot.
Sleep with one eye open, like what they say on that shitty Metallica album. So
I like that song personally.
Are we gonna start counter signaling the Black Album? Because like, I could do it for the troll value.
They counter signaled us, though, right? I mean, didn't they at concerts say they just don't care about your race?
Oh, that's right. They don't. Yeah. Fuck Metallica. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, they have like a
You're playing bass or something.
All right.
It's really off topic.
It's way off topic, but fuck Metallica. All right. Anyways,
But also, we love old Metallica.
we do.
Yeah.
Before they
the first 4 albums.
That's right. All right. So
Especially, I like Saint Anger.
Saint Anger.
Well, that's the best Metallica.
All right. This is gonna be a lot of editing on my part. All right.
A lot of in jokes. I'm sorry, people.
Go ahead. I'll just.
let
I'll
him
just
talk.
edit. Yeah. Brad, you want to go ahead and do your top 5, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
All right. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, dude. You go right ahead.
All right. My number 5 is personally, it's a tie between Disney and the Amityville Horror. I just like those ones because those are like my 2 topics that I picked out and I did a lot of research on personally. Like I was the one who came forward with those, and I had a lot of time to look into it. And they're just both really, they're fun topics. They're not like triggering like a lot of conspiracy theories are.
Yeah, no, I
It's a
thought
good
this
way
was pretty
to-
fun.
Yeah, it's a good way to break up, the real triggering shit.
Definitely.
And I did learn a lot about like Disney. Like I knew a little bit about the Amityville Horror, like seeing the movies in the past, but like I didn't know like Disney was fucking haunted.
Hmm.
You didn't.
I knew Walt hated the kikes though. That was I just like mentioning that every time I talk about Disney is that Walt is like spinning his grave like a dreidel.
Well, what did you learn about Disney though?
Oh, just about all the different deaths that have occurred there. Like, they're the kind of company that really tries to be hush-hush about it.
Yeah, Disney. I don't know if it's actually true that no one has technically died at Disney. Because, they say that they basically have the paramedics or whoever announce the death off-site.
That's Disney World. Disneyland is older and it has plenty of deaths. It's like Disney World that they like say.
I get the 2 confused.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one actually has like no deaths?
I don't know. Maybe like no one's died at Tokyo Disney, but people have died at all the fucking Disneys.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, look at all the walking around in the sun you do at Disney World. I mean, there's
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Somebody's got
there's
it.
small
Somebody's
guys
got
that
it.
killed over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody has to. Yeah.
And the haunted house is pretty cool. I mean, they people put ashes in there.
Yeah, that's that. They see like the ghosts of little boys because like moms will like scatter their like cancer babies' ashes.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they try to clean up all the ashes and then put them in an undisclosed location, so that it won't become a shrine. But there's got to be ash in there.
Called a dumpster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called waste management.
But I get it. It's
horrible.
super goth, cool. Go have your ashes scattered at the haunted house, at Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
My number 4 was the Waco Ruby Ridge episode, and when I was a little more libertarian, I'd say like center libertarian, I got into like a little bit of conspiracy, and I had heard of Waco, but I had never heard of Ruby Ridge, and just the way all those events went down, I was getting really, really mad listening to that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to just scream because this is all
that episode is
100%
supposed to
true.
make you angry. Yeah, that was the one where like people are like, "Oh, you do all this conspiracy theory stuff," but like Ruby Ridge and Waco was like, there wasn't a single shred of theory. It was conspiracy fact after fact after fact after fact.
Yeah, and combining the two was like extra triggering.
Yeah.
Oh
my god. Yeah. I was mad for days, dude. I was like, I was really, really angry. That was not. Oh man.
I was listening to it at work, and I just started pacing when I started getting angry.
Like, just the stuff that they did, like the mistakes that they made, that they, when the military says when you're wrong, stay wrong. That's like one of their things. It's like, if you fuck up, stay fucked up. That way you at least, put your heart into it. I don't know what the hell they mean by that, but like if you fuck something up and it's wrong and you double down on it, which is what they did. They doubled and tripled down on the Weavers. That's how you end up with a movement that hates the government, I have to say.
Yeah, they really didn't learn anything from any of these events.
No, and they could have, but they just didn't.
Right. What was your next one, Bradshaw? I think we might have lost him again.
Did we lose him?
My next one was
sorry.
sorry.
Okay.
My next one was episode 5, but not really for the USOs. I wasn't that. I don't know. That didn't really grab me. But the Dyatlov Pass incident was just. I just found that really interesting.
That was the first
always,
episode. Was that the first episode you really contributed to?
Hello?
Was that the first episode that you really contributed to?
Contributed on? No. I mean,
No,
I didn't even contribute that much on Dyatlov.
Okay. That's just.
I had just seen like it discussed on like X when I was younger, and I always wanted to find out more about it. So it was real cool that like seeing you guys finally cover it.
I think it would be good to revisit that at some.
Well, the Dyatlov Pass is one that people have said that like we completely whiffed on certain aspects of it.
Yeah, there was a lot, I guess, that we didn't cover. So I think there's probably enough for a part 2 at least.
Well, it's because so many people have made a hobby horse out of it. You gotta, set it up like a murder scene with posters and shit to really get into it nowadays.
Right. Otherwise, otherwise you're just some sort of a shill,
Yeah, Johnny Come Lately,
Yeah, that's kind of why it's sad that was the one that you chose to do the split episode on, because the USO needed something else to carry it, but Dyatlov you could have a whole episode on.
Yeah, definitely. We're never doing the USOs again because I have no idea what to possibly say.
Yeah, we can.
It was
say
a very
we
short,
have
succinct
settled that
episode.
case.
Yeah, we have settled.
Literally 100% of the information has been reviewed.
Jim Fetzer has documented it in a book called "There's No More Information, You Dumbass."
Stop making me write books, asshole.
That's right. I refuse to write another word, you dumb fuck. All right, so. All right, so
80,000 words.
Right. Yes, it's yeah.
What's your number 2, Bradshaw?
My number 2 was Pedo Tube, which is I think that appeared on all of our.
That's
Yeah.
a really That's a really heavy episode.
It's another one of those things that just got me really fucking mad.
I think that appeared on all of our top 2.
Yeah,
I think that was first or second.
everybody's top 1 or 2. Yeah, it was very, very, very deep, very angering episode. A lot of.
We have to revisit it. I don't want to, but we have to give an update.
I don't know.
I've
if I
had
want to do that.
I do. I don't, but I do. I mean, I've had. There's been people messaging us before on Twitter asking if we're going to do another one. And I don't know.
We'll talk
I feel
about
like
it when it gets.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. All right. So, Brad, you're number 1.
My number 1 was Missing 411. I seriously think that is like the best Paranormies episode that has
favorites. Yeah.
It's
freaked
it
out
was just
many a
perfect
person.
from front to back.
It had people freaked out going camping. People freaked out with their kids going camping.
I was freaked out.
Yeah, you went camping and you pretty sure you cried like a little bitch. But anyways,
No, you know what's funny that I talked about the time when I went camping in a cabin and I had a paranormal experience. Well, this cabin I went to was pretty much a mirror image of that cabin on another mountain. Didn't experience anything. Slept like a fucking baby.
Interesting. But yeah, so we're gonna do we'll do another episode on that once we get some more information.
We'll call it Missing 412.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the guy who does Missing 411, he's got like other books that we haven't even gotten into. So
I really gotta give props to Musonius for that episode because he despite him saying he was burnt out from doing podcasts all week, he did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah, because I just like that subject. For some reason, like my mind wants to go there when I can't sleep, so I'll sit there and listen to the stories and just get scared as fuck, and then I pass out and wake up in the morning.
Those are really scary. Those are really scary stories, dude. I do that every now and then. I'm gonna listen to something. I'll put on like my YouTube and like put my headphones on. I'll wake up like in the middle of the night with my earphones tangled around my neck, choking me out, like thinking I'm getting killed by some sort of
That episode is really the one I recommend to everyone. I got my roommate to listen to the Paranormies. I got my childhood best friend to listen to the Paranormies. I got one of the local guys who was a big critic of yours to like you guys after that. He didn't like you guys. Well, he actually liked you when you cut the chaff a little bit and changed some hosts.
Well, alrighty.
Drop some dead weight.
Drop some dead weight. Dropped off
300 pounds.
Drop some weight. Drop some weight off the. Hey.
Slice the fat off a little.
Cut the fat. We cut the fat. Got right to the chase. Went really with the lean material. So, all right.
No more padding.
No more padding. The
Whales.
fat.
Hang on. Hold on. Let me fart into the microphone here.
No, you're not going to do that. What I'm going to say is, guys, it's been a pleasure working with you guys for 2 seasons so far. We'll be back next season with a whole lot of other things. You guys have no idea. We're coming back harder, stronger, faster, bigger, whatever. Paranormies.
Wow, gay.
Yeah, totally gay.
Gayer. We're coming back gayer too. Don't forget
We're
that.
coming back gayer. Yeah, big gay.
Twice
Al.
as gay.
Gayer than hell.
All right, stop.
Fucking gay as hell.
Our season 3 motto is going to be gayer than hell.
I am editing.
We're gonna expose the heterosexual.
I'm editing this whole part out. I'm editing this whole part out.
Nah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine, but we're gonna say it every single episode.
Well, tonight's
Gayer than hell.
tonight's creepypasta.
Tonight's creepypasta
is a classic.
Gayer than hell.
It's the Russian sleep experiment, where we find out that if you stay up for 30 days straight, it turns you gay.
All right. Wow. God damn it, Bradshaw. That's scared in hell. We'll be back next season with a whole lot more creepy posting with Adam and Scott and Death and myself, Musonius, Slurp World, and Jesus Christ, who else is on the show?
Did you just fuck
we'll
up?
talk to you guys. We'll talk to you guys next season.
Gayer than hell. Gayer than hell.
Gayer than hell.
Later.
That's a queer right there.
I can't believe you read out fucking Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed-circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole-sized windows into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on but no bedding, running water, and a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The test subjects hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk increasingly about traumatic events in their past. The general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other, and then they began alternately whispering to the microphones and one-way mirrored portholes. Oddly, they all seemed to think they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades. At first, the researchers suspected this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber repeatedly, yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. He continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce an occasional squeak. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about this behavior is how the other captives reacted to it, or rather, didn't react to it. They continued whispering to the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The 2 non-screaming captives took the books apart, smeared them page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the glass portholes. The screaming promptly stopped. And so did the whispering to the microphones. After 3 more days have passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside of the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives they were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a single phrase in a calm voice response. "We no longer want to be freed." Debate broke out among the researchers and the military forces funding the research. Unable to provoke any more response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state that they were in alive. The food rations past day 5 had not so much been touched. There were chunks of meat torn from the dead test subject's thighs and chest, stuffed into the drain at the center of the chamber, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that these wounds were self-inflicted by hand, not with teeth as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that most, if not all, were self-inflicted. The abdominal organs below the ribcage of all 4 test subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. The skin and most of the muscle attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the ribcage. All of the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen to be working, digesting food. It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Most of the soldiers were Russian special forces at the facility, but many still refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber and alternately begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives if you count the ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and he bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the lethal human dose of morphine and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arm of one of the doctors. His heart beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out to the point where there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, just repeating the word "more" over and over again, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility, the 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought furiously against his restraints. When the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under, he managed to tear most of the way through the 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist, even through the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding that wrist as well. It took only a little bit more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in the struggle to not be subdued. Fuck. The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested, reluctantly, they try the surgery without anesthetic, and he did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding over stated repeatedly that it should be medically impossible for the patient to still be alive. One terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of a drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so he could write down his message. It was simple. Keep cutting. The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well, although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. The surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves, why they had ripped out their own organs, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Only one response was given: I must remain awake. All 3 subjects' restraints were reinforced, and they were placed back into the chamber awaiting determination as what could be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but they were overruled. In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EKG monitor and had their restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all 3 stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that, at this point, all 3 were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might. First left, then right, then left again, for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off the pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EKG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looked as though he were repeating suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on the paper scroll out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of a deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flatlines as the one had just died from falling asleep. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. One of the named 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things.
Not with you, he screamed at the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know. The subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within all of you, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide away from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's head and fired. The EKG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out. So, nearly free.